Hello. To get the ball rolling and for our first project in this class, we're going to look at the fundamentals of HTML and CSS. We'll start with HTML, and before we start writing our own code, it's good to just kind of take a look at what HTML is and roughly how it works. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext is a fancy way of saying text that can link to other things, such as other text, other pages, other spots of the same page. So it's like non-linear text. And markup is a term for creating additional meaning or structure to a text. So HTML is made up of these things called tags, which look like this little greater than equal brackets, and they also have a closing tag. But we'll talk more about that later. So to try to explain how this works, I'm going to use a metaphor. And I'm going to create a thing called pseudocode. So pseudocode is a way of just kind of thinking through the logic of something. It wouldn't actually work, but it helps you kind of work through coding ideas. And in this metaphor, I'm going to make a house. It doesn't know anything. It doesn't know what a house is, so we have to tell it. And here we're going to make an imaginary tag called house, using that little syntax there. So the computer thinks the house goes on forever, and actually more importantly for us is how do we tell the computer, or in this case the browser, the web browser, what's in the house and what's outside the house. We do it by putting the same thing we put in the beginning, but with a little forward slash to say, this is the end of the house. So when we code and when we read in the browser, and also when we're building our HTML, we tend to work from the top down. So as we're defining things in this house, we're going to start from the top and work our way down. So the first thing we're going to do is add an attic tag with an open and closed state. Next, we'll add a couple of floors. So we got our floor open close and our floor open close. And then we can add rooms to the floor. So on the top floor, we got 3 rooms, and the next floor we got 2. So a different number on each. And then we could go further and put furniture in the rooms. But if we look at this, we notice that there's kind of like a hierarchical structure. And this structure in HTML is called the DOM, the Document Object Model. It's an outline for all the structure in the page. And, we're not going to use tags like houses and attics and stuff. But the idea of working in this like top-down encapsulated structure with open and closed tags is totally relevant. In HTML, there are tags that have actual meaning, like head and body and nav and article. And there's tons of them, and we'll talk about a few of them. But there's good news, like there's many places to look them up, and there's really only a handful that you're going to use the vast majority of the time.